Hello, 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 everybody. How is everyone doing on this wonderful Wednesday evening? Veronica Berrigan here with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, and welcome to tonight's webinar. It is Webinar Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining. If you want to just type in on the side here that you can hear me, we're going to go ahead and keep moving forward. I also do have my phone right next to me should you need to text me with any questions, but our chat is enabled right now, guys. So you can type in your questions here on the side if this is the first time on one of my webinars by typing here. And just give me a heads up here that you can see me. You should be seeing a funky screen right now that looks like it's a portal into another dimension because it has a ton of screens that take you in deep and deep into my computer. So just give me a quick hi here on the side and we'll get started because today we have a lot to discuss. Greg and Sandy, how are you? Thank you guys so much for joining Webinar Wednesday and thank you for replying. So we're gonna go ahead and get started, guys. Tonight we got a juicy, juicy subject to talk about because believe it or not, guys, it is going to be December tomorrow. I know that is scary. I don't know if you all agree that this has been probably one of the fastest years ever. But in reality, what we need to start doing right now for our businesses is to prepare for 2017. And really that starts in real estate world and in late October. And so we just had our business planning clinic at the office where we did invite a local economist with our Cromford report, Tina Tambor, and she did an incredible presentation that I forwarded to all of you already. And don't worry if you don't know how to read it or understand it. There's many parts that are very easy to understand, but there's the other sections where you'll need to learn how to present that to your buyers, sellers, to the market that you're servicing. And I will be doing a class specific to that, a webinar for you guys at the end of this month. So it's scheduled, end of December. And so I will do that part on a separate webinar. And today we're just going to focus specifically on our business plan and what we need to do to get some clear goals in place to really figure out what to be doing day by day. And so we eliminate overwhelmment and we have a plan because an idea without an actual plan is just a dream, guys. And we need to put things down on paper. We need to be strategic. And number one for me next year, and I hope you all join me, my whole theme for 2017 is going to be simple. Keep it simple. I don't want to do anything difficult. I don't want to try new crazy things that other people are doing. I want to write a business plan that is going to be attainable, where I don't self-sabotage and now all of a sudden, I have to now, redo it and do something else. And so today we just want to focus with our business plan in simplicity. And that's the theme for 2017 too. What are the things that are going to get you the results that you want? Because real estate, there is no magic pill, guys. It's called relationships, contacts. It's called lead generation and incredible follow-up systems. So thank you guys so much for joining. We're going to go ahead and get started with the actual business planning site. Okay, so any questions, you guys can obviously send me a text message or again, type them in on the side. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to skip through the actual Cromford report section, and we had a mortgage section and a title update. And again, I'll be doing a class on this later in the month. So 2017 business plan, guys. Failing to plan is planning to fail. A goal without a plan is just a wish. And so because of that, I created a very simple template that I'll be showing you today that I've emailed to you all already to really follow and to get clarity on your goals and your activities. I'll show you two different versions of it, and we'll talk today about your goals and commitments. But one of the cool things that you should be doing is if you don't have the business plan up, if you don't have it printed, if it's not up on your computer, then I want you to take a quick second and pull pen and paper out so you can follow along with me. And then you can plug in these numbers into your actual business plan when you're ready to do that. So please take a quick second to get a pen and paper so you can either follow along with me or pull out this business plan that I emailed you. And I emailed you this business plan. It's been a while, actually, probably 2 weeks ago. So it looks like this. You got it in Word format. You also got it in PDF. And if you were in my class on the business planning clinic, then you got a little booklet that goes with it. So take this out or pull out a pen and paper so that we can start rolling up our sleeves and get started. So I'll give you a quick 20 seconds, 30 seconds to do that. All right, let's get going. So before we do anything though, I really want you guys to not be afraid to think big. I really want you to be open-minded and to create the highest, grandest vision possible for your life and for 2017. Because in the end, guys, what you become is because you become what you believe. And so if you believe that you can only close 2 transactions next year, then that's exactly what's going to happen. So without having any fear, you don't want to self-sabotage. And if you're somebody who says, I'm going to only work, 20, 30 hours a week, you don't want to say, well, then I'm going to close, 100 transactions, right? There's a big difference with that. But don't be conservative either. Everything's attainable. And today I'm going to show you how you do that based on strategies and math. And so I just want you to really believe in yourself and to think that you can really accomplish anything you desire, because that's the first part. I keep talking to you guys in my sales meetings and everything that we do. It's 80% mindset, 80%, your inner world creates your outer world. So we got to check in with that first, and then we can proceed with actually putting down our plans in action and putting down our plans on paper so that we can execute. So what really is your real estate business vision for 2017? And then beyond that, you should have a plan of what's going to happen in 2018, 2019, 2020. Because when you plan and you have this vision, the universe delivers. It's not magic. You have to step up every day and show up emotionally, physically, right? Mentally. But if you have a plan, it makes you get up every single morning ready to execute. So think about that question. What is your real estate business vision for 2017? So vision without action is merely a dream. Action without vision just passes the time, and vision with action can change the world. So let's roll up our sleeves, guys, and go ahead and get started. So here we go. Now let's pull up our actual business plan. So this is a very simple business plan that I created for all of you. And it really touches on the most important fundamentals, which is what lead generation activities you're going to prioritize. Also, what exactly, what strategies you're going to take in, whether they're new or what's already been working. We're also going to be talking about follow-up. What are we going to be doing as far as follow-up to make sure that we're converting leads into clients? Because if you have no follow-up strategies, then you might as well not be lead generating, because their money is in the follow-up, guys. I'm going to go over your organizational goals. Should you be ready to actually grow the team, hire an admin, hire a transaction coordinator, things of that nature. And then we're going to break it down, guys, to daily, monthly schedules so that we can figure out exactly what you should be doing day to day. So first and foremost, we're going to go to the first page of the business plan. So the first section here talks about your goal. What is the number of transactions you want to close? Or what is the income that you're wanting to make? Now, 2 things you guys received from me. You received this 2017 business plan, right? And we also have always received the business plan that we use, a quick business plan that helps you calculate some quick numbers, right? Now, for many of you guys, this is going to vary, because income in real estate is associated with purchase prices, as well as your splits, as well as volume, how many transactions you actually are doing. So you have this one as well to plug in some numbers to give you an idea. But let's say, how much money do I need to meet my living expenses? Let's say you needed $100,000 to live your living expenses, and you needed $20,000 to actually live your dream. And then let's say you're focusing on a higher purchase price, that's $8,000. But if you're focusing on in an area where price points are 200,000, 300,000, and of course this is going to be a little bit smaller. So even conservatively, and prices are going to keep appreciating according to what we're hearing. So I'm just going to use a number of $6,000 right there. And then approximate percentage of tax paid on business. That's going to be about 20%, guys, because the IRS is not going to forgive you. Your business expense is a percentage of sales. It should not be more than 10%, especially as you're starting off. As you're closing deals, it's about putting this marketing budget aside that will enable you to use it to put it back into your business. So let's just say 10%, and you guys can plug in any numbers you want, but we do have some of the national numbers in there. Percentage of transactions that will sell and close. 60% if you're a new agent, I would say 70%. As the years progress and you get more experience, that's going to get better and better and better. But what that means is like 7 out of 10 transactions you put into escrow will actually close. Why would there be a fallout rate? Well, fallout rates could happen due to inspection periods, due to negotiations, due to bad lenders who give you bad pre-quals. So, we want to avoid this because you do all the work to put them into escrow. And then if you have to cancel, it's the worst thing ever. But it does happen. And so you'll get better and better at this, but we can actually plug in like 70% there. And then percentage of total income from listings. All of your prospecting and marketing activities, which I'm going to go over right now, should be geared to actually getting those, most of them, 75% should be geared toward getting listings, getting those listing presentations and getting your sign in front of as many homes as possible. And why is that important? Is because listings bring buyers, guys. You have open house opportunity. You have the opportunities to impact neighborhood. You have the opportunity to get sign calls. And now because you're an upgraded agent with Berkshire on Zillow, you'll be the only agent that shows up on your listings on Zillow, which is powerful because they have millions of visitors. And so you want to get and be able to convert that and be able to double in those transactions. So let's just say that at the beginning of the year, you're going to do 50-50. 50% are going to come from buyers, 50% are going to come from sellers. At this point, what this would equate to would be an approximate income required of $162,000 with 27 total transactions. And that is basically the number of transactions that we're going to plug into that other business plan I sent you. Now, if you want to change this up a little bit, let's say you needed only 80,000 or do 120, then that breaks it down to about 22. Okay, so you have to have an idea of what you want to do. Maybe you already know you want to do 1 consistently a month or 2 consistently a month. And what we need to do is go back to our PDF and we need to actually plug that number in right here. So number of transactions, tell me the number of transactions you actually want to do. 12, 24, 50, 100, plug that in right there. If you have an income idea, then plug that in right there. But for our purposes today, we need to know primarily the number of transactions you actually want to do or you are committed to doing in 2017. So plug that number in. And then we're going to go to the next section. And please let me know if you have any questions on this part. Okay, good. All right. So now that you have your number up here, number of transactions, we need to determine how many people you actually need to feed your database with in order to meet your goals. Now, how that works, guys, is we got to look at the next page on our business plan, which is this section right here. Okay. What does this mean? I've given you these numbers before, and I've talked about how many people in the database equate to actually 1 transaction. So let me just first, because this kind of mixes people up, I have to first explain what met versus haven't met means. Someone who would be in your database, that is someone that is considered you have met them. What does that mean? When you meet someone, that means that it's a sphere of influence, friend, family, coworker, whatever that is, if you have a job working full-time. Referrals from past clients, referrals from current clients. Those are very, very strong types of leads. Why? Because they already have that trust in you based on some type of relationship you've already built with them. And so people that you've met already, those are people that are going to give you a better conversion rates as far as leads, right? So the numbers actually show that for every 12 people in your database that you plug into your database, that you actually market to 33 times a year, there's 33 touches. And it may seem excessive, guys, but remember, our touches can consist of now social media interaction. They can consist of a text. They can consist of an email. They can consist of a phone call, a client appreciation party. They can consist of you dropping by and dropping off some a holiday card, whatever that is, right? So if you can develop a system that it consists of not just emails, but also touches, different types of touches, that will touch them at least 33 times a year. And the VAC system and the virtual access center, guys, you can set this up as well. You can create custom campaigns to get you to touch your contacts a certain number of intervals of times based on when they get entered into your database. Then if you, for every 12 people of these met people, these people that are your sphere of influence friends, coworkers, referrals from friends, then you can expect to close 2 transactions a year. Now, if you, these met people as well, if you, for every 12 people that you actually market to at least once a month, so that means that now you're sending them your monthly newsletter via email, or you're mailing it, or you're doing a pop-by, which you're dropping by, whatever the touch is. In person is much more powerful, by the way. But regardless, if let's just say that you have a sphere of influence of 100 people or 60 people, let's just say that, and you put them in your database, and now they're each getting your monthly newsletter. Then for every 12 people, so if you have 60 people in there, you can expect to close 1 transaction a month if you're touching or making contact at least once a month. So just think of it this way, 33 times is almost 3 times a touch, so 3 times the touches per year. So of course it's going to give you a better transaction numbers. But if you're only touching them once a month, then it's going to give you only 1 transaction. So if you had 60 people that you already knew, that were referrals, that were past clients, that were family, whatever that looks like, that you were sending your monthly newsletter to every single month, then you can expect to close 5 transactions just from there. So if you have a goal of 12 transactions and you got 60 people that are sphere of influence, 5 are going to come just from that med side. And then the rest of your transactions, the other 7 are going to come from the haven't met side. Now, most agents, especially if they're new to the Valley and they don't have a big sphere of influence, this is how they actually build their business. So now let's talk about haven't met, guys. Haven't met, those are people that are brand new leads that you have not developed a relationship or rapport with. I know it can be confusing, but open house leads would be considered haven't met. Yes, you've met them in person, of course, or if you're doing a community event or a mortgage day or whatever that looks like. Yes, I know you've met them in person, and the conversion rate is going to be a little bit higher than if you were making phone calls, because now you've met them in person, or if you were doing online lead generation. Unless on online lead generation, you're incorporating video instead of just text campaigns. But regardless, these are brand new people that are coming into your sphere, or that are coming into your existence, but not necessarily have you known them forever. So if you're doing open houses, phone calls, any other type of prospecting, they're all considered haven't met. Now the numbers and the ratios for those type of people are that for every 50 people, so see how it's a big difference, that you haven't met, basically brand new leads in your database that are marketed to 12 times a year, which means once a month, either through direct mail, either through phone calls, through text, through AdWorks, through Facebook, through whatever you want to call it, you can expect to close 1 sale a year. So before I keep going, please let me know if you have any questions on what this means, because now we're going to crunch some numbers and do some math. So any questions on this particular part of the math section? I'll give you guys a few seconds. Okay. I think we may be good. And just, even if I keep talking, guys, just plug in your questions here and I'll come back to the screen and I'll see if we have any questions. Okay, so what that means for us, guys, is that, oops, sorry about that. Let me check here. So what that means for us, guys, is that now we need a strategy. If you first, you need to see how many people you have in your current database, and you got to determine whether they're people that are part of your sphere or they're brand new leads, right? If you already have 12 people in your database that are from your open houses, then as long as you continue to market to them once a month, then you can expect to get one transaction just from there. If you're a brand new agent, okay, and you want to close 12 transactions next year. So it's very, very simple math, and I'll show you guys here how easy that is. So if you're a brand new agent who wants to close 12 transactions next year, you're brand new to the state, you don't have a sphere of influence. What that would mean is that you would need, for 50 people, that equals one transaction, right? And you're brand new. So 50 times 12 equals 600. That means you need 600 contacts in your database in order to be able to close 12 transactions in the year if you have nobody in your sphere of influence. So when you break it down, which is what we're going to do here in the business plan, you have a section here that actually now you can break it down what your goals are. And we want to know what we're going to do month to month, day to day, even week per week, and week, month, yearly, and daily. So we're going to break it down in that fashion. So if you got 600 contacts that you need for the entire year because you're not going to use your sphere of influence or you don't have a very big one, then 600 divided by 12 would give you 50 people per 50 per month. Okay? And then, oops, 1 second, 50 times 12. Yeah, so 50 per month. And then 50 per month, 50, now we're going to break it down per week. Divided by 4, let's say there's 4 weeks. Oops. Excuse me. So it's 600 divided by 12 equals 50 per month divided by 4. That would mean that you would need 12.5 per week divided by 7. That would mean you would need 1.78 contacts per day to get you to 600 contacts by the end of the year. Now, when you look at it this way, it doesn't feel as overwhelming. Now you know that you've done your job if you've gotten your 2 contacts every single day. Now, what's also really cool as we get into our lead generation strategies and we go into the next section is that, you know, many of you guys have been doing open houses already. You know, many times you're getting 12 people just in one open house or 2 open houses that you're doing. The key is to stay consistent and not let your morale and your confidence fall down because you had that one open house that the only 2 people showed up or nobody showed up, right? Or you were doing your phones and, you know, one day you got 1 listing presentation, but then the next day you didn't, you got nothing or nobody answered. Whatever we decide to put on our plan, we got to stick to it. And I'm going to go into that a little bit next because nothing in real estate really gives you a quick, fast return on investment. I mean, you get to really assess the consumer for motivation and see, you know, how ready they really are. But remember, guys, buyers start looking 6 to 9 months before they really actually pull the trigger. So if we don't got follow-up systems, which we're going to talk about, you're going to get discouraged, and you're also not going to realize that it has nothing to do with you. It just has to do with the industry. So you have to know your numbers. You have to know what you need to be hitting every single day in order to keep the morale up and the confidence up. Now, let's say you already had, if you want to do 12 transactions a year, and you already have, I don't know, you already have, let's just call it 60 people of your SOI, sphere of influence, right? So then that means that you're going to have 5 transactions coming from here. because you already have 60 in there. And now the rest of your contacts need to come from your haven't met database. So if you got 5 transactions here, you only got 7 transactions left. So 7 times 50 gives you equals, 350 contacts. So what that means is that 350 contacts, let's do some math. 350 divided by 12, you're going to be at, divided by 12 equals 29 per month. And then you're going to divide that by 4, which equals 7 per week. And divide that by 7, which equals about one per day. Okay, so this is what it would look like. Or even if you don't have the 60 in there, but you know you're going to build them in there, then if you're going to want 60 people from your med database, or for people that are referrals, past clients, then that means that you have to have 60 divided by 12, 5 meds per month. And you know, that seems a lot easier. I don't even want to divide it by week. It's 1 or 2, 1.5, and by day, well, that doesn't even make sense. So if your strategy is going to be both METs and not METs, then that's exactly what you got to plug in this section. So first, you got to plug in your per year, per month, per week, per day. But this whole second worksheet right here, guys, will help you really enable to say how many do I need month 1 that I've met, and how many do I need that I haven't met. Again, if you don't have anybody here, then everything's going to be right here. Remember, these are stronger. Sphere of influence, people you already know, referrals, this is going to get you better converting numbers. After you've tracked your numbers and you're doing this correctly, the cool part is that you actually are going to start using your own numbers. These are just national numbers, right? And you're going to start seeing that how many calls it takes you to actually get one listing presentation or one escrow or one buyer, right? And now we can, that helps tremendously, guys, because if you're not tracking your stuff, what happens is that your morale goes down. And when you do track your stuff, you already know, it's going to take 3 open houses. It's going to take this many contacts for me to convert. And it's not easy, guys. It's not like it takes 1 and then you're done. It takes a volume. It takes consistency. No magic pill, but the answer is consistency. So you have to determine now what your strategy is going to be. And you got to look at your database currently, and you got to look at, what you're sending them. You got to look at exactly who you're going to go after this year. If you have a good sphere of influence, but you haven't reached out to them yet, then this is where you need to get the work going. You got 5 people per month that you got to add from your sphere of influence. It makes it a lot more doable. It makes it a lot more strategic. Now, also remember, we have the KDNA site. All of you guys are logged on for that or registered for that. That's where we do our monthly contest, where we raffle off amazing prizes, like a 5-star vacation to Cancun and incredible gift certificates to really nice restaurants and iPads and all this other cool stuff. But use that system as a place to track yourself. How many conversations did I really have? How many contacts did I really make? You can really have something to look back to hold yourself accountable for. So this is the way this worksheet, this first section actually starts. So you have to fill in your per year, per month, per week, per day, so you can actually make that happen. So does that make sense, guys? Are there any questions at all about the math part? Let me know if you have questions, please. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Again, if you do have a question, just keep typing it in there, and I'll come back and check on the screen. Okay? Okay, so next thing, guys. What lead generation activities will I prioritize? This is key. Okay? So the first question you have to answer is what's been working already. You got to look at your business. How many transactions did I close last year? If you haven't closed any transactions, what activities have we're doing on last year that I will continue to do? So plug that in this section. And then we have to decide what's going to change the game for 2017. What prospecting activities am I going to be doing? Now, remember, we want to focus on prospecting, not necessarily marketing. Marketing should be 25% of your activities. Prospecting needs to be 75%. I attached a sheet to this business plan from our program called Real Estate Masters. Oh, it's not on this attachment. I'm sorry. That gives you a direct actually a comparison, a site-to-site comparison of exactly what it is that consists of marketing versus prospecting, right? So marketing is just like doing an ad on Facebook, or unless it's lead generation where you're actually sending them to a site to actually give you their contact info. But prospecting is more direct. It gives you faster results. So prospecting would be like open houses. It would be like phone calls. It would be like doing a community event. It would be like actually doing a mortgage day. Versus branding and marketing is more if you just do a post on Facebook, or if you were to just use AdWords to follow people around with your message, your picture. Marketing is, when most realtors hide behind marketing because it's the easiest thing to do. It's easier than prospecting, that's for sure. And so you want to look at what activities are actually going to get you there as quickly as possible. Now, if it's open houses, within open houses, there's a lot of different ways to execute a really great prospecting strategy. I teach you guys with the high impact open houses, which you could be doing before the open house, even if it's not your listing. Which within the open house, there's opportunities for you guys to, first of all, use our system that we have to give you the phone numbers of the area around there. And you can now make 50 calls to invite people to the open house and to ask if they want the market analysis of their home and get their contact info, right? We also have free door hangers for you guys. If you're doing consistent open houses, now you can also drop off 50 door hangers prior to your open house every time. And there's Facebook advertising, of course, where you can send them to a specific page on your site and get them to convert by finding out more about the open house. So see how it's not just the open house where the leads are going to be walking in and finding the right open house, et cetera, but it's also what you can do with it before. So your whole business plan may be, I'm just going to do open houses. I'm just going to do 4 open houses a month, or I'm going to do 6 or 8, or every Saturday and Sunday, that's what I'm going to do. Then what we can add now to that particular strategy is additional ways to actually lead generate within it. The top 3 ways that realtors actually lead generate are open houses. And then the second one is sphere of influence. And then the third one is geographical farming. With geographical farming, I have a farming calendar that I've shared with a lot of you guys of different methods to deliver your message. With your farm, there's community events. There's phone calls of just listed, just sold, or market trends information. You can also do mail outs, and you can do hand delivery. You can do so many different ways to actually touch them, but you're not going to do all of them at the same to begin with, especially if you're a new agent. You're going to pick one thing and then grow it from there. Maybe you love door knocking, or maybe you love open houses, and that's what we need to start with. And the more you can be in front of people, the more powerful it's going to be, because being in front of them really cannot ever take the place of just calling or texting or things of that nature. And like I said earlier, if you're doing online lead generation, then your text campaigns are great, but video campaigns are insane. I'm doing a whole workshop on that tomorrow, because video campaigns raise the conversion rates, and they also raise the amount of clicks and leads you actually get. So what's been working already? And then also, what are you going to be doing for 2017? Is it going to be, I'm going to be focused on my open houses, and I'm also going to be focused on my geographical farm. And within the geographical farm, I'm going to be focused on expireds and FSBOs. Let's say you want to do that. Or I'm only going to go after expireds. You remember I did a whole webinar on how you can find out all this information about expireds already from our MLS, and how you can create a strategy of follow-up with them to convert them into your client. Same thing with for sale by owners. We did a class just on that to get you to actually understand the follow-up systems to convert. The more strategic and focused you are in an area, the better the chances are you're going to get that listing a lot quicker, because it's all perception. They don't know how many properties you've closed really in there unless you're talking about it, and eventually you will when you start closing a lot, right? But if they keep seeing your name everywhere, and they keep seeing you at the community events, and they keep hearing from you on the phone, and they keep seeing you on Facebook and on AdWords and everything, then of course the perception is going to be that you are the go-to gal or guy. So in this section right here, the 2017 commitment for lead generation activities, you really got to look at that chart, and it's from Real Estate Masters, and I attached it to your guys' email that I sent a couple of weeks ago. It's just not on this business plan, but I'll send it again as well if you need it. What am I going to be focused on? And it doesn't have to be 8 things, guys. Remember, 2017 is all about simplicity. If my goal is 15 contacts a week, then I've got to learn to figure out what is it that it's going to take for me to get 15 contacts per week. And open houses can get you there very quickly, 2 days a week, maybe just strategically doing them during the week as well if you have some time in the afternoon. So if it's that, then that's what you're going to stick to. If it's going to be phones and prospecting over the phone, telemarketing, and that's what we're going to stick to. And we're not going to add anything else until we've really systemized that. We've really taken it to its full advantage and we've mastered it. Because again, we don't want to be the jack of all trades. It's not going to help you guys. We've got to stay simple and focused. Simple and focused. So you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. When we did the business plan clinic, yeah, the top producers, they had like 8, 10. Why? Because they've already been in the industry forever. So they have different avenues where their pipeline is getting filled up every single time. If you're a new agent, you got 1 or 2 things that you're doing, and that's the only 1 or 2 things that I want you to focus on. Because we don't want to make it too difficult. So in this section, you want to plug in what exactly is it that you are committing to, and what exactly is it that you're going to do for lead generation, not marketing, guys. Marketing, you should be doing that anyways. You should have a fan page. You should be doing a newsletter every month, just sending it out to your farm. You should be doing AdWords and just staying in front of people within your area. Though that's just other things, but that's only 25% of what you should be doing. The 75% is direct. It's people that have already raised their hand. It's people that you can really connect to and build relationships so that in turn they can turn around and do some business with you. So that's in this section, the 2017 commitments for lead generation activities. Any questions on that before I keep moving forward? Okay, cool. So then the next section of the business plan is 3, strategy for each lead gen activity. So this sheet right here, what I want you to do here is to write in your lead generation activity, open houses, Facebook advertising, phone calls, community events, whatever it is that you're going to be doing for lead generation. You got to look at that other sheet that I sent you to look at some ideas. And remember, just do 1 to 2 to 3 things, or look what's worked already and put it back in there. And then what you're going to do is your execution strategy. You're going to plug in here open houses. So maybe right here, it's an open house. Then right here, maybe one of the strategies that you need to implement if you want to start doing Facebook advertising for the open houses is learn Facebook advertising. Have it rolled out by second quarter or by February of 2017. Perhaps you haven't been doing phone calls. Perhaps you want to start adding, I'm going to start calling 20 people for my open houses and telling them not only to come to my open house, but I'm offering a free market analysis of their home to get those contacts, right? We're playing the contacts game. Maybe for your open houses, you want to incorporate having someone drop off flyers for you, or whatever it is that you're thinking of that's going to really step up the game of what that lead generation activity is. You got to get it on here. It could be professional development, it could be marketing, it could be leveraging out to outsourcing, whatever that looks like, you got to plug it in here. I gave you this sheet and I gave you 4 different places to actually do that. If you need more space, and just make a copy of it, obviously. But you got to, from what you put in here, this section right here, again, it could be one thing or it could be 8 things. We got to bring it down to this sheet and we got to look at really what is it that I need to do to maximize? What is it that it's going to raise my productivity and it's going to make it happen for us? That is the second or the third section where you actually do that. Fourth section, follow-up strategy, because that's where the money is, guys. So let me show you what I did with that. So follow-up strategy is this particular sheet right here. So what is it that you're going to do for people that you have met? So a minimum of 2 touches per month, maybe, or 33 touches per year, mixed touches, or are you going to do once a month? What is it that's going to happen? So you have to write out exactly here what's going to happen to them in the database. Maybe in their database, they're going to be classified as sphere of influence, and they're going to get your automatic monthly newsletter. Plus, they're going to get a buyer or a seller campaign depending on who they are, right? So you have to identify in this section the people that are your referrals, sphere of influence, past clients. What is your strategy to stay in touch with them through your database? Now, through the phone, what is your commitment as well? You know, when you have a huge database of 1,500 people, you learn to really not categorize it, but organize it and say, if I have 1,200 people, then I got to know that every month, and maybe it's this last Friday of the month, I got to call X amount of people just to touch base with them and see how they're doing, see how their house is doing, how the sale, where their move is. Even if they moved out of state, guys, I would still call them and say, hey, how you doing? Just checking in with you. How's the new place? Blah, blah, blah. Well, of course, if you know anybody that wants to buy or sell real estate in Arizona, I'm here to assist. So those things of me, are you going to incorporate that? And how are you going to do that? Text messaging, that's huge. Text messaging, you know, open rates are much higher than email. I mean, open rates for text messages are like 99%. So people read their text, right? So are you going to incorporate any systems, any technology to help you stay on top of that? Or are you going to be doing more of a manual thing? Maybe you're going to say every Monday, I'm going to text everybody in my database. Whatever that looks like, what is your strategy for this based on people who you've already met? On sphere of influence, friends, family, et cetera, et cetera. Digital too, you know, with digital, guys, we can target, as long as you have people's email addresses, we can target them on AdWords, we can target them on Facebook. So now you're staying in front of them through the internet, wherever they're searching, wherever they're hanging out. So that's another way, which is very cost efficient and productive as far as time goes, that will stay in front of them. And if you're not going to do anything digital next year, then just put not applicable. Maybe that's something for 2018 for you. I think that you should really step outside the comfort zone and learn it. Maybe for 2017, your digital strategy is, I just got to learn it. That's all I got to do. Then you have to plug that in there right there so we have an idea of where to go. And then mail and hand delivered. You may be completely opposed to mailing or hand delivering, and you could put, you know, I'm not doing anything with that. Or because it's your sphere of influence, you may spend a little bit of money and actually mail them your newsletter or mail them something nice every time so that they can remember to send you those referrals. Now, the next section is about haven't met. So people that are in brand new contacts, you know. So we need a minimum monthly touches with 8 aggressive touches first 8 weeks. Now, when in your database, we have preset campaigns for you. Like if they're a buyer, there's an aggressive campaign in there that touches them once a week for like 8 weeks. Seller as well. That one goes out to like 12 weeks, I think it is. But what are you going to do with your database? Is it going to be, I'm going to assign them to, they come into my database and I'm going to assign them to the buyer campaign and my sphere of influence campaign, or whatever that looks like. But you have to jot it down in this section so you can have that strategy in hand. Also with your phone, with phones, you know, with new contacts, many of them will give you wrong phone numbers, but if they give you the right one, and you should call them immediately, because that's a huge sign that the motivation is very high. Otherwise, you know, they would be giving you a false one or whatever. So what's your strategy for phone? Am I going to call everyone in my database once a week, once a month, every other week? And that may change too, guys, because as you get to build relationships with these people, you'll understand their motivation and you'll understand their urgency. Text message as well. Am I using any systems? There's so many advanced systems out there that will do drip campaigns just with text messaging. So maybe it is just I need to research. I need to figure out what system I need to use to really stay in touch and on top of mind with them through text. And digital, same thing. Maybe you've never done a Facebook ad. Maybe you've never used AdWords. Maybe you haven't done anything at all with Zillow and you want to know more. It could either be I want to learn about it, or it could be I'm actually going to execute. But this whole sheet is all about the follow-up. It's all about how the heck am I going to convert these buyers and sellers? Because if they're not ready to pull the trigger, I want them to remember me when they really are. And then lastly, which is really, really, really important, guys, is we want to be able to, let's see. Can you guys hear me okay? I just got a text message. Let me see. All right, you guys can hear me okay? Let's try again, because I just got a text message from one of our attendees that says, you can't hear me. I hope you guys can hear me, right? Craig and Sandy, can you guys hear me okay? No? Yes, maybe? Hello, hello. Oh, cool. Jerry, you might want to check your computer settings because they can hear me over here on this side. So check it out, Jerry. There will be a replay just in case. Okay, so last, which is really, really important, guys. I want you to start thinking about what you will include as a creative and quick reminder and instructions on how to give me referral business. We are so guilty for this in this industry. We'll call, deliver valuable information. We'll deliver flyers. We'll do Facebook advertising. But one of the most important things is that, thank you. I guess they can hear me well. Awesome. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you. So one of the things that, thanks, Ernie. One of the things that you want to do, guys, is you want to include a creative and a quick reminder on exactly how you're going to get people to give you referrals. Now, you can look at our scripts, our book of scripts, and see what that entails. Or you can create your own mission statement. There's a zillion websites out there. You can literally say Google how to create a mission statement. There's a lot of templates that get you to answer some really deep questions and will help you develop this. But we want to have consistency in our messaging, and our call to action is the most important thing as far as your marketing or prospecting activities. You gotta learn to ask for the referrals, and you gotta learn to put that on paper or on text if you are doing that. So we need to be able to develop that. So this in this section, please use it for that. Please use it so that you're able to actually plug in what you're going to be using as far as your mission statement, as far as your call to action, as far as, and it could be as easy as, remember, go to my site to request your free market analysis or market value report of your home. It could be that. Or it could be, your consistent mission statement, for myself, I remember we were my particular niche and or what I focused, or the clientele that I focused, was the Hispanic industry. So my Hispanic niche. So my slogan was from mi familia to yours. So I kind of used that little Spanglish thing, and it always worked great. But it was in everything I did, whether I was talking to a Spanish speaker or an English speaker, because I was targeting more of like second generation Hispanics who speak both and live in both worlds. So you got to really think about who your audience is, who your geographical forum is, who you represent as a person or as a team. And you got to come up with something that will really be catchy and that will remind them of who you are consistently, because your marketing piece may change, but your message, your actual call to action has to stay consistent. It has to be the same over and over and over. So that's going to require some soul searching and require a little bit of just really getting creative with it. And I can help you guys with that, of course, as well. So that was the end of it, guys. This is the end of the business plan. Like I said, I emailed you guys these templates. I also emailed you this one, so you can plug in some numbers and do some cool things with that. And I'm also available for one-on-one as well, to really look at strategies and lead generation so that we can get you guys going for 2017. So I'm going to open it up to any questions that you may have here for a few seconds, just in case something didn't make sense. I think the thing that confuses people the most is the Mets versus didn't meet, the math part of that equation. But it's easy, guys. 12 transactions, 50 people for people you haven't met. For every one transaction you'll close. And then the rest, really, which we're going to be talking about tomorrow at our video workshop, is getting organized. You know, what is my content? What am I going to be giving to my people? And it could be as easy as all the templates we already have in there, or it could be as something as you really want to be strategic and get really fine-tuned and tailored and focused specifically to your audience. Like I said, if you're focusing like in the Sun City area, you're never going to send them something about back to school or an event that's happening, you know, in Buckeye. But if you're focusing in Sun City, you're going to be talking about events. You're going to be talking about how you're a raging fan of that community, and that should be your marketing message. Also, things that will educate them. You know, we have a lot of flyers, you know, about appreciation and what's your home worth, and understanding the market and things of that nature, marketing trends and things of that nature that can help you develop a really good marketing message. Awesome, Greg and Sandy. Yes, I'm so excited. Yes, please do reach out to me for one-on-one appointments so that we can really be strategic with your plan. Please fill out the templates before our meeting so that I have something to look at. And if you don't have the templates, I will resend them as well so that you can plug in your numbers and get clarity on where you need to be. That is the number one thing. Your most valuable asset, guys, in this industry is your time. So we don't have to work 100 hours a week or 80 hours a week or even 40 hours a week based on your goals. What we need to do is learn to use what tools we need to do to leverage our time and to be more productive. And we also need clarity. We need clarity of our day-to-day activities. Otherwise, it will nip us in the butt, and all of a sudden we're going to be in 2018 and we're going to be like, what happened? So hope this webinar helped tremendously. There will be a replay, of course, that you guys can check out. And again, just reach out to me and set up a one-on-one appointment, because I would love to sit down and strategize with you all, especially before 2017, so we can get the ball rolling. So if you guys don't have any other questions, I'm going to end the webinar 6 minutes early so you guys can go and enjoy a nice dinner or a nice walkout, even though it's freezing and I'm complaining because I don't like it. But if there's no other questions, I'm going to go ahead and end the broadcast. I'll give it a couple seconds. Wonderful. Okay, we're all geniuses here. I knew it. Thank you guys so much for being part of my webinar. Don't forget, we have another webinar coming next Wednesday. And then I really want you guys to be part of the market update webinar that I'm going to be doing at the end of the month, because it is incredible. You will be so happy to hear all the great things that are happening in Arizona. And again, just feel free to review that PowerPoint that I sent you as well to start getting ready for your buyers and sellers. Thank you guys so much. Have a fantastic evening. And you know how to get a hold of me. So text, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, you name it, I'm there. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye, everyone.